Welcome everyone to the debut episode of Aftermatch Aftermath, the Liverpool podcast brought to you by a handful of FishStakes crew, hosted by myself, James, and joining me this week and presumably every week, we've got Craig and Jake. Liverpool have made their return to Premier League football with a slightly underwhelming 0-0 result at Everton in the Merseyside derby, which we'll touch on later. But for now, we've all just finished watching the Palace game. Opinions are fresh, and Craig, we'll come to you first. Thoughts on the game?
Wow, what a game, what a game. After the Everton match, I was a bit worried about what performance I'd see, and wow, they've absolutely smashed it. Phenomenal performance. Didn't seem to show any of the tiredness or any of the lack of pace, or just a bit, couldn't really get out of second gear. That seemed to happen at Everton. They got a goal, they got a second, they went for it, They've put the mark down. They've shown why they are champions in waiting.
Yeah, it's definitely a totally different 100%. Game.
Yeah,
to the derby,
Definitely. I mean, I said right before the game happened, I was saying that they were going to be better, but not spectacular, because they'll still be getting out of the break habit. But that just proved me so wrong. It was. We were dominating that game.
Worried.
Annoyingly, we didn't record after the derby, but I did predict a 3-0 scoreline, which was wrong, thankfully, 4-0. But, I did say it would be a different game.
I mean, I couldn't see myself predicting anything other than 2-1, because it seems to be quite a favourite scoreline of Liverpool.
I think I went the same.
So they've been in a good run of form, Crystal Palace, and was it Bournemouth away? Was it 2-0 the other day? I mean, they've looked pretty good. They've been on. I think granted the run of form continues before the interruption in the season, but still.
The last time they played at Anfield, it was 4-3 as well, so it was a tight game. And I think last season when we played them away, it was 2-1. So I don't know. I was a little bit apprehensive about a good result, but we needed it as well. So
yeah, well,
I was optimistic before. Oh, sorry, go on.
No.
I was just going to say I was optimistic before the derby. I think I predicted 3-1 or 3-2 to us. Obviously that didn't go well, but that kind of knocked my confidence down a little bit, and I was still generous to Liverpool in this one. I was thinking it was going to be 2-1, but they weren't going to be fantastic, but they weren't going to suck. Yeah,
it's worth saying as well, we had Robbo back and we had Salah back in the starting lineup, which makes a huge difference.
I was paying a particular attention to them, and it made, Robbo in particular. I mean, I'm Salah, but I was keeping more of an eye on Robbo because he's not typically a goal scorer. But that, the cross balls and the run ups and stuff helped loads, I reckon, in this game from him.
Just seeing that, just seeing the starting lineup for Everton, I was a bit like, not 100% settled on that, and then seeing all the old faithful 11 return today, I was just instilled confidence that they've got this. They did. It was fantastic to see Salah back, fantastic to see Robbo back, and Gomez partnering Van Dijk in the centre of the fence again, which is very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very solid. And I was going to say, I was a bit surprised that Fabinho played again today, but because I felt like he was a bit ropey before the break and had a few dodgy moments against Everton. But wow, what a performance today!
He did have a bit of
a
bad. Go on, sorry.
I like if you remember when Fabinho came in, he didn't start off great as well. I don't know if it's just him personally, but for me, also when he had his injury and then he came back, it took him a few games to get going again. Because he did become, when he joined, he was a little bit not sure about him, and then he steadily became a must-play starting 11 or every time. I think that's just maybe part of him is he takes a little bit.
Takes him a little bit longer,
but once he does, he's on fire. I mean, that goal today.
Yeah, he's not
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, I was a bit ropey at the beginning when he missed that free kick so badly. Well, not even so badly, but then he recovered it with that just absolute beauty of a long shot.
Wow, reminds me of his strike against City earlier in the season. It was just an absolutely cracking shot, and it's mad to think that he's got that like in his locker, really, that he can just unleash
and he's a
shots
defensive
like that.
midfield as well. Like
Yeah.
you
The
don't
fact
even
that he's got
expect it
that
from him.
is fab, and I guess hopefully that gives him confidence, because if he's got that ability, which clearly he does, because that was absolutely one hell of a great strike, hopefully it'll give him confidence to think, like, maybe if they're against more of like the stubborn teams and they can't really break him down, if he's got that in his locker, if he gets within range, I'd just say just have a go.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
If a little lane opens up, why not? I noticed Robbo has a go a few times and it never seems to land. It does my head in. Every time he touches that ball near the box, I'm like, just pass it, and he goes for the shot every time. Like, he had one on target shot that I remember in the Barcelona game, which he was unlucky it didn't go in, to be fair, but I hate him taking a shot. Shout out to Robbo, like, no, you're listening. Legend.
One day one of them will go in.
Stop shooting.
One day one of them will go in.
He's from what I've seen, he's better at the crosses and the passes when he gets
that's his game.
rather than
And
the
also,
shots.
having him back there as well, Trent and Robbo together is like that. I feel
Incredible.
like that's the spearhead of like Liverpool's attack now. And obviously, when we missed him in the derby, it was a huge difference. Like, because the play as well, the cross and play between both of them, like changing the sides, is so integral to the way that Liverpool play now. And I feel like even if you're just missing one of them, it's such it's so detrimental to the performance. Like, it's can't be understated how important he is, and also Mo Salah as well. And I think that ultimately was the difference today. And I think it would have been the difference at Everton as well if they'd have played.
Yeah, I reckon so as well. After seeing that game and seeing, like, paying attention specifically to him in this game and Salah, yeah, definitely. I reckon
I was thinking
the result
even
would
with
have been
Salah,
different.
like, he's Liverpool's top goal scorer at the moment, and probably will be come the end of the season. But even when he's not scoring goals, I think he makes such a difference to the game. Like, he's constantly moving, he's constantly looking for different avenues. But even when he's not on the ball, he draws in defenders. Like, don't forget, in his first season in the Premier League, he blew everyone away. And I think since then, like, defence, when you're coming up against Salah, it's like everyone man marks him, and I feel like that pulls people to that side, and then you've got openings for Firmino and Mane on the other side.
I mean, so many times in that game he had two people marking him on the right wing there, and like it just opened up a little channel in the middle for like Henderson and Oxlade-Chamberlain and sometimes Firmino to run up a little bit further than they would be able to if he wasn't there.
Yeah, I just think that when he's not playing, you can tell. Like, even if he doesn't score, as long as he plays in the game, his presence just changes the way other teams play against Liverpool, which makes a difference to me.
This might get slightly off topic from Salah, but it kind of is the same thing. That's why I kind of don't like the idea of putting Minamino in that position, because he's kind of not. He's not a Salah. He's not as strong as he is. He's fast and he's pacey, but he's not in that role. He's better suited to the position we saw him in that Palace game, which was in Firmino's spot.
The thing is,
because he's
like, Minamino was fairly versatile. Like, he can play on both wings and he can play down the middle, but the difference is between when he played for Salzburg and now when he plays for Liverpool is we play differently in the sense that Trent's link up with Salah is like Trent goes over the top, Salah runs in behind, gets in behind for those balls. I think Minamino is more inclined to come towards the ball and receive it, which doesn't work as well, because Salah, again, his strength, as you were saying, is running through players, leaning into defenders, rolling off them and stuff like that, which Minamino just can't do. He's a smaller guy. Like, that's just the way he's built. But the difficulty there is Trent's not used to playing like that, and I think that showed at Everton. Trent trying to link up with Minamino just wasn't working, because he was still in the mindset of like playing with Salah, but he wasn't. And Salah's irreplaceable. Like, in any team, it's no slight on Minamino. Any team would miss Mo Salah. So
yeah, I think also it's a case of well, I remember going back to, you said that when in the derby when Trent was trying to pass through to Minamino, I think because he was unable to get out that, because either of them were able to get out of that mindset, I think I saw or remember a few times of Trent just passing it back rather than trying to pass it through. which obviously then led to that poor result. But it's just that'll come out of them with training. I reckon once they get more familiar with the way. Well, it's more Minamino. Once Minamino gets more inclined with our play style, I think that will. I don't see him go. I'm not going to say he's going to replace Salah or be as good as Salah, but it'll be more refined.
I mean, we'll touch on Minamino in the Derby discussion a little bit more. But in terms of the Palace game, I don't know if we want to go through the run of play, but
I was going to mention. Go on.
Zaha came off with an injury. I don't know.
Yeah.
Craig, you got any opinions on that?
I do.
Oops.
I mean, I thought, like, for me, Zaha is their best player, and I thought, like, that was a huge...
I mean, I was a relieved man when I saw him go off. I thought there's
when
the main goal threat down, and that certainly spurred Liverpool's on, because I think it was within a few minutes of him going off injured that they won. That they got the first free kick. I mean, the free kick that led to the first goal.
So he went off 15 minutes in, and 23 minutes in, Trent scored the free kick. So, quite soon.
I remember watching it after he went off, and I was just thinking, because you've said that in discussion to us before, that Zaha was, you're like one of the most feared on their team for you. And I was just watching and thinking, like, well, I was relieved, because I'm obviously going to believe what you say, because you are obviously more into this than I am, but I was literally thinking James is going to be breathing such a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, like,
at this point.
It's sad for any player getting injured. Like, you don't want to see it, but at the same time, as a Liverpool fan, it was like, thank God.
Yeah, you're not wishing, that their injury is severe. You're just breathing a sigh of relief that, that they've gone off for that game.
So I just wanted to back that free kick. I mean, granted, we all know Alexander-Arnold's undoubtable world-class quality at such a young age. Like, what a player he is. And the fact that he scored homegrown. He scored a handful of very impressive free kicks, and this one is right up with the best of his free kicks. Like, the technique on it, it was basically like unsavable. And I think I said to someone at the time, I thought, like, maybe 1 to 2 foot higher, and that is like as perfect. It would have been as perfect a free kick as you got. I mean, but that's just me being picky, because it was still pretty much unsavable, and it was absolutely quality.
Yeah, that's just nitpicking, but it's still like like 9 times out of 10 that's not getting saved.
I don't know if it's
that's frustrating.
His age or whatever. I always feel a little bit worried about him taking them. Like, I know he scored them before and that, but I'm like, that free kick, I was praying Salah would take it. He didn't, and obviously it paid off and that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he's due more credit than I give him.
Yeah, I think his first goal for Liverpool was a free kick. Was it in the Champions League, maybe? Yeah, so I guess he's got a long one.
I was worried about Fabinho's free kick, rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, I think he takes... I'm not sure, but I think he takes them on a national level. I know he takes penalties. But I'm not really sure why Trent didn't have a go at that one either.
I think it was because he asked for it. I think because he was the one that went down, he asked to take it, and they let him.
Going through, I think it was a point in the first half, I want to quickly mention. Liverpool had a ssort of half penalty shout where there was a handball involved. For me, it would have been harsh, but...
I think, like, because the rules are a little bit different in the Champions League, aren't they? I think if that was in the Champions League, that would have been a penalty. As far as I'm aware, in the Champions League, if it touches your arm inside the box, it's a penalty, regardless of anything else. So I think distance comes into it in the Prem. Like, if it was,
do you think it should have been
to react in time? I think I agree with Craig. It would have been a little bit harsh if they'd give it, but I feel like if that was a Champions League game, they would have given that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll be honest, I don't think it should have been given, and it wasn't. So
I'm going to say,
but I wouldn't have turned it down if it was. I'll be honest.
Absolutely. I want to say what a huge moment it was for the Egyptian king, because because like a lot of the times an away team like Crystal Palace or like a lot of teams, if they're playing a team like Liverpool away, a lot of teams would go if they could go into the break 1-0 down. That a lot of them would come out swinging the second half, thinking we're still in with a great shout here. We just need one to bring this back. So Salah to perform some of his magic just before the stroke of half time, I feel like it really would have changed things for Crystal Palace, because they would have sat there and thought it's a big ask for us to get 2 back at Anfield in the second half here now. So that and of course, I thought, fantastic to see him back on the score sheet.
I was saying, like, after the free kick, I was like, we need one more before half time, and then we've got this. But also, it was a phenomenal goal from him as well. Kept his run on side.
I'll be honest,
it was just classic Salah.
One of the things I want to talk about is I reckon it should have been more before the 2 lead at half time, because some of the chances Wijnaldum had at the beginning were just wide, and it was just so unlucky. And Henderson hitting the post,
Hendo, I think, was unlucky. Wijnaldum, I think, that first chance that he had, at least.
The first chance,
I feel like that was a given goal. I don't know what happened there.
I think he panicked. But looking back at that, I think it's showing like a highlight while watching it back. It looked like it hit his foot the wrong way. So instead of him sort of kicking it, it sort of just fell to his foot, and that's what sort of threw it off.
Seems a bit odd, but I think
this,
I think because I think it was 1-0 at the time. I think that happened. I feel like that it might partly be a bit of nerves, because I know they were trying quite hard for the second goal, and probably they know themselves that 1-0 is never a particularly safe scoreline. So I feel like maybe if it had been 3-0 at the time and that same ball fell to Wijnaldum, he probably would have scored it, because I feel like it wouldn't have.
Pressure was off a little bit.
Pressure was off. He just could have relaxed.
Was it also before or after Henderson's post hit as well?
The first chance was before.
First chance was before, and the second one was after.
I actually think it was Wijnaldum had the first chance of the game, at least his first shot, because that was before the free kick. I'm not sure about the second one.
The second one was even closer. I remember that much.
It was the first chance of the game. I feel like it was like 8 minutes in. It was like super early, because I remember looking at the clock. I was like, I can't believe we missed that. But I always expect Liverpool to score within the first 20 minutes of a game, and it was like less than 10 minutes at the time. So I was like, fair play. I'll let him have that one.
I was gonna say, wow. I mean, I know we've certainly touched on it, but I guess the next thing that came up after half time, no substitutions at half time on Liverpool's side, from what I can recall. I think it was the same team that came out. And I think about 10 minutes after half time, step up Mr. Fabinho.
Phenomenal goal.
I mean,
absolutely.
I know it meant what an absolute. I mean, I don't know if it will be up there as goal of the season, but certainly it's goal of the restart contender. Absolutely.
It's an amazing goal.
I mean, I would probably say it has to be the best goal scored since we've restarted the Premier League. I said absolutely. Well, I know we've touched on it and before. Absolutely phenomenal strike, and that well and truly put the game to bed. Man.
It's the power definitely. As well from him.
That's why I was going to touch on it.
It's hard enough to get it on target from that distance, but the power, it was like,
and it wasn't like too high or too low. Like, it wasn't just like sliding across the floor, but it also wasn't like rocketed sky high.
No, but the thing is, I think he's also.
It was a nice level.
I mean, he did it against City in the 3-1 win against City, and he's done it again. So it's obviously something he's capable of. It wasn't no fluke against City. Like, that's something he can do, which is nice to know that we've got that sitting there in the engine.
I also think that boosted his confidence after the free kick as well.
Yeah, because he had to go with a free kick against Everton as well, which obviously he didn't score, and then he's had another free kick here against Palace, didn't score that, and that can shake you. So it's good for him that he got a goal. Speaking of like people getting goals for confidence, I wish Firmino would get a goal at Anfield this season. It's doing like,
he had some good chances in this game.
He deserves one as well. Like, he's a phenomenal player and he's so important. to that front three, and it sucks.
Oh
that he
Christ!
hasn't had
Yeah,
a goal yet.
I saw him do some sick play. There was some nice ball control. I think it was in the second half of the game where it was like a long ball, and he managed to bring it down and control it amazingly.
Well, I think goal number 4 really highlighted his importance. Like that was, I think it was from memory. I think it was excellent link up play between the front three, and of course he played a vital role in that. But
I want to say it was
he set it in motion. Didn't he?
I don't want to jump ahead too much.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Have I missed out of anything?
If you want to talk about substitutions, we had Chamberlain came on for Henderson, which I was quite surprised by. I thought it was going to be Wijnaldum coming off.
I thought initially it was going to be Oxlade for Wijnaldum, and then even despite that, I thought also Keita would be on for Wijnaldum.
I expected Keita to get a little bit of time. To be honest, I actually expected Keita to start, so I was quite surprised by that. But
to be fair, though, I tend to feel like maybe it's just the way he is. I think Henderson in the past has tended to need a bit more of a rest than some other players. And I think he did play Did he play the whole derby? I can't remember.
I think he did.
I don't think he played the whole. Did he?
But I think he certainly needs. He certainly needs. He's one of those players that does need a rest. He reminds me a bit of Gerrard in that way, where I think I feel like he. I mean, granted, he is an absolute machine in the middle of midfield, so it's probably well earned rest.
I mean, obviously the result speaks for itself. I don't have an issue with him coming off. I was a little bit surprised, but he's probably also getting ready for City as well, because he's definitely going to be a starter against City. So
he was doing well in this game. Like, he just got unlucky, I feel.
Yeah,
apart from that breaking news, NASA found his football in space. The chance of post was just unlucky.
Like, let's not forget, he's not a striker.
He's not.
So it's just like, have a go in it. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I reckon his performance today was alright.
Played that role for Liverpool, so I mean, I thought he was fine, and he's also like so important as a captain. He's just super important to have him on the field. So I would always start him if he's capable. I imagine he's come off to start prepping for City, because I think we were 3-0 up at the time he came off. So why not give someone else a chance and get him ready for City?
I'm going to say, speaking of the fourth goal and Mane, I'm trying to think where does that place him regarding the Golden Boot? Because I know Salah is a bit off. I think Mane's Liverpool's best bet for the Golden Boot from last I remember.
No, Salah's top goal scorer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, okay. Salah I think now is equal second with Aubameyang on, I want to say, 17 goals. Jamie Vardy is top with 19. And Mane, I think, is in 8th. I think Mane's on 14 or maybe 15 now after that goal.
Surprised. I guess it's time to win some penalties and give them to Mo.
Yeah, Mo's in with a chance, to be honest. If Mo had got a hat-trick tonight, he'd have been equal first. So we just need Vardy to stop scoring.
Yeah. Well, I guess
which
also
actually... Sorry, go on, if you've got something to say.
I was going to say, because as far as I'm aware, like, granted I don't know because I don't follow their matches too carefully, but I believe that Vardy tends to be typically Leicester's penalty taker. I know Mo does take penalties for the ball, but he tends to be second choice to good old Milner. Maybe taking those out the picture, it might have been a different story. But
I think there's still time. I remember in Mo's debut season, Harry Kane was having a go on he was trying to get the Golden Boot for himself, and he was taking all the penalties, and I was used to think, like, the difference here is Salah had a 30 goal season in his debut run. First of all, that's phenomenal on its own, but second, the guy's not even taking penalties. One, he's not even a striker. Like, let's not forget, he's a winger. He's not even a striker, and he's not even first choice taking penalties, whereas Harry Kane is a typical striker down the middle, number 9, and is the first choice to take penalties for Tottenham. So the difference between, like, the fact that Salah beat him to the Golden Boot is phenomenal. And then I believe, if I'm correct, Harry Kane said something like, let's see him doing that next year, and then he went and did that next year. So Fair play.
F.
So a bit later on, obviously, so Trent went off along with Bobby Firmino to give, was it Ben Williams? I made up.
Nico.
Neko. Or Nico.
Neko.
I actually
Who's
don't
Ben?
know how to pronounce his name.
I don't know, I've just made him up.
Don't know who
Shout
Ben
out-
is. You've made
Shout out to Ben
new
Williams,
player.
I know you're watching. Nico. who I don't know who I just invented.
Leave us a comment and tell us who you know.
Yeah. I don't know really who started, but Williams, he's looked very, very good when he's had a few chances this season. I think maybe in the cups.
Yeah. He also
He's a
was
talent.
was involved in Minamino's debut at the FA Cup against Everton. He played left back. He played right back there as well.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly looks promising. It's like we've got like a Trent 2.
Yeah, I like a little.
He had
Trent,
some
like.
sick. Like I haven't seen some of his previous matches, but some of the matches, like the highlights for me in this match was he got a nice slide tackle in, like not long after he was brought on, and then obviously he had like a few chances in a row towards the later end of the game, which included some amazing ball control. Like I think at one point it fell to him, and then he was tapping it through with his left, lining it up, and then shot with his right, and it was just unfortunate that it got caught. He
had
did,
two
yeah.
decent shots.
And it just
from
got
what I
caught.
remember.
It just got caught.
So, overall, I think it was a very, very impressive debut for him. Good to see Minamino get some more minutes as well.
Do you know what?
I
As
think
well,
he's a
about
player who will come
Minamino?
good.
He could have had his goal tonight, but Salah kind of stole it from him.
Yes. I was going to get onto that before. I think he didn't steal it. I was looking at it and I was like, did he steal it? Or
He shot it, like he wanted to take it on for himself, which I get, especially in the position he's in. Like, he's in with a real chance of the golden boot, and if he'd have scored that, it'd have put him one behind Jamie Vardy. So I get it, but at the same time, one little tap to his left there, and that was a 100% goal for Minamino. So I'm a little bit. I'm just good for Minamino. Like, I don't blame Salah when you're 4-0 up. Like you can afford to take them risks. Like if it was 0-0 at that point and he didn't tap that over, then I'd be annoyed. So you can't be angry at him, but it's a little bit disappointing for Minamino.
I honestly don't even think he was. I think he went in with the intention to score it himself, but then once he realised he probably wasn't going to get it because he saw a defender in the box, in the goal, and then also the goalkeeper, I think he wanted to change and pass it through, but it was just a little bit too late of a decision. So
just like
when
caught in 2 months.
kind of, yeah, I think it went sort of in between the both, and it just ended up getting deflected, which was kind of unfortunate. So I don't think he intended to just fully take it on himself and try and take the glory. But, you know, even if he was, it wouldn't be that bad. I think it was just, he went in with the intention, realised he couldn't, and it was too late by then.
Impressive mini cameo from Elliott. Again, very, very promising young player for the future. I look forward to seeing him more, I guess, well, hopefully this season and in the next season and beyond. Looks like a very, very talented player.
Also,
seems to not lacking confidence at all, which is very, very good. So
I want to say he's 16, isn't he?
I think
17. He started when he was
17?
16. He's now 17 now, yeah.
Which is mad, by the way. Just like
It's
the fact
insane,
that he's getting
yeah.
time in the Premiership and the Premier League as it now is. And it's not even like he's just having a go. Like you sort of, I mean, he's better than a lot of wingers on other teams. I mean, I feel like no one can compare to Mane and Salah at the moment, but I feel like there's been a lot of talk about sort of transfers and things regarding Liverpool recently. Obviously, we didn't get Timo Werner, but I also feel like it's not that important when you look at the talent that we've got coming up, and it's nice to see that Klopp is focusing on them as well and giving them chances and stuff, and it's paying off as well because everyone, you know, we saw Nico Williams today and we saw Harvey Elliott today, and they're all looking strong. They're all looking full of confidence, as Craig said, and it's good to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was a little bit worried because I haven't obviously followed a lot of the kids' careers so far, but after seeing like Harvey Elliott there and Nico Williams in that match, I'm a lot more relieved I'll be a lot more relieved and relaxed if they come on in the future, you know, provided we're like leading by a decent margin.
so. I guess the important thing is, go on.
Go on. I was just going to say, if you want to wrap up Palace.
Yeah. Well,
do you guys?
I was going to say, the point has
obviously,
been
a man
made.
of the match has been named, but sort of disregarding that.
I actually don't know who it is.
Who do you want to give it to?
Ooh,
well, that's fine. Who would you give it to?
That's a good question. Who would I give it to?
Match.
I'm torn between two. I think I'm gonna have to go with Salah. The other one, in my opinion, would have been Firmino. I know he didn't score, but I was watching him up and down in a lot of different positions and a lot of like different angles, trying to either create opportunities, create assists, or anything. And I just
there was a quote a while ago. I annoyingly can't remember who said it, but it was something like, if you watch the game, you don't see Firmino, but if you watch Firmino, you see the whole game.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah,
he controls everything. I mean, he's amazing. He might not get the goals, but he's such a talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Unsung hero on occasion.
Purely just because Salah got a goal and then assisted Mane to get his goal. Granted, Firmino did as well, but it was the start up. Like, I'll have to give it to Salah.
I know it's I fully agree, Salah. I mean, I know it's a team game, it's a team effort, and I guess it's also important to have Andy Robertson back in, but I feel like Salah came back into the starting lineup, and I feel like his energy and his aura was just injected into the team, and it just made them look so much more deadly on the attack, and it just it completely changes the game.
It's like it motivated them. Like seeing him in this game, well, not even seeing him, but seeing the team in this game, we were a lot more open to interceptions and a lot more open to challenges and getting the ball back when it was lost. And like I think I've got a stat somewhere where we had like something like 76% or something for 72% possession.
This possession, 73.6% possession for Liverpool, 26.4 for Crystal Palace.
I feel like that was down to a lot of like confidence. We just went
very similar.
We just went like in on trying to get the ball back and in their half, and probably part of it was because they knew they had Salah on the right wing, so that it was locked down.
Check out this, right? So overall shots for Liverpool 18, for Crystal Palace 3. I'll be honest, can't really remember the Palace shots.
I have 21.
I think.
Is that for Liverpool? 21.
I have 21 and on mine.
Here's a fun stat I was sent.
Go on.
Which sort of sums it up. I don't think, let me just double check before I read this out. Palace did not have a touch in the Liverpool penalty area, apparently.
I can believe that. I think all their shots were long, with that. Anyway, from what I remember, and they all went wide. Well, I've got here, actually, shots on target for Liverpool 6, for Palace 0. So they didn't even have, they were never scoring in that game. Of the 3 shots that they had, none of them even were on target. So Alisson didn't even have to make a save all game, which is
I remember one of the commentators saying he was just like a spectator the entire time, and I couldn't agree more.
And after City absolutely thrashed Burnley with 5-0, upset Liverpool 4-0 against a good Crystal Palace team at home, and they've just put the marker down and just said, right, you've done it, we've done it, we're back to over to you, go get a result at Chelsea, or that's it.
Yeah, I thought that was really important today, actually, getting a big result, because City have been on form, and if we'd have scraped by like 1-0 today, it wouldn't have been enough to send a message to them. Do you know what I mean?
No,
especially when we're playing them next.
Looking at the stats that we've got and the goals we've scored, I think we've absolutely dominated it. I don't know which one's right, either mine or James's, but either way, it still supports the evidence. Like 21 shots against 3, 8 on target against none, 72% possession against 28, and like 6 corners against 0. I think that speaks for itself. That's just you're just playing with them at that point.
I've just refreshed mine and it is on 21 though. So
I was going to say, do you want to wrap up Crystal Palace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All I was going to say was I was going to offer a little differential there with Fabinho as man of the match.
Okay.
He got an assist
I mean,
Yeah.
for Salah's goal.
I agree.
And he got
It was
the
a-
long shot himself.
He got hell of a goal. I think he was
performed-
solid in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
And it
As
was
a defensive
definitely one of
midfielder, I thought he
his one of his best performances, I think, since he's came back into the team following his long injury.
Yeah. So I think overall everyone's pretty happy with that performance.
Who was the actual man of the match? Before we move off it.
I actually don't know. I wanted to save it so that I could give my own.
Nor do I.
Who'd you? So you think it was Fabinho?
Yeah, that's what I would have given it to Fabinho.
Okay. I'll try and see if I can find it.
Do we want to move on to the derby?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a bit of a damp squib. But
Not in too much detail.
I mean, there wasn't really much to say, to be honest. I mean, it was. I always felt like I think it was it last season, Everton at home defended for their lives. A very, very similar game, and just because they just wanted to take points off Liverpool to try and stop Liverpool winning the title. So it was very much the same. I think Everton like gave Liverpool it's like 70% possession at home, which I think is quite shocking for a home team, to be fair. It sort of shows how Everton were just basically out to defend. But I mean, I'm not gonna make too many excuses. Liverpool looked well off the pace against Everton, but then again, Everton looked off the pace themselves. But Liverpool looked far from the best, I thought.
I thought both teams
very, very sort of
suffered, but
yeah. I think lack of fitness sort of really seemed to show for both teams there. There seemed to be no clear-cut chances, maybe bar a couple for Everton when they had two very, very good chances. I think later on with Alisson came to the rescue with two good saves, which is all credit to him because to basically be like sat there like at home watching the match basically for the entire game to suddenly have to be alert and wake up to two very good chances later on, which is credit to him.
Testament to how good he is to not switch off in that kind of situation. So a couple of important things to mention about the derby then. That brings one of them up quite nicely. Everton's two, I would say, clear chances where they definitely could have scored. Now Calvert-Lewin had one towards the end. I'm not sure who the first one was off the top of my head, but both of them happened, you might say it's a coincidence, but both of them happened right after Lovren came on. I don't know if anyone's got any thoughts about that.
Well, although he's certainly not the ideal pairing, I guess. Like he is, it's probably why he's been linked to a move away so often, especially since the emergence of Gomez after his long injury. I think Van Dijk and Gomez is certainly the preferred defensive partnership. But I mean, all credit to Matip because he's also. I mean, I think he's looked really good alongside Van Dijk too. But I feel like Van Dijk and Gomez is probably the future. But I mean, Lovren's certainly down the pecking order in terms of defensive choices.
Yeah, I did get a bit worried when I saw him come on.
I think he just makes poor decisions. He's very erratic for me. Sometimes he can have great games. Remember when Gomez had that long injury towards the start of this season, and Lovren got a few games, and he was actually fine, like in the Champions League. I remember him playing a few times, and it was like, do you know what, he's doing all right. But then, like, he's just prone to these mistakes sometimes, and they can cost you. And in that instance, in like a 0-0 draw, and you're in the dying minutes of the game, and he makes a mistake like that, that's the game there. Do you know what I mean? Everton really were unlucky not to score. They hit the post on one of them occasions, and honestly, we were lucky to get away with a point there, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool had a few chances. I think like. On possession, I mean, they didn't really create enough. I feel like they were lucky at the end after those two chances, but I feel like take those two Everton chances away, and I feel like a draw would have been a fair result. Liverpool did nowhere near enough, but I would also say potentially we're a bit unfortunate because they had what was the first injury? It was Milner who was filling in for left back, who had to go off quite early on. So he had a bit of a. Well, I think he's played there before on occasion, but a bit of a makeshift left back in Joe Gomez. There for a time, and then we had the injury to Matip, who got a toe injury later on. So I feel like, even though I guess it's potentially a good thing based on his performance today that Salah didn't come on and that he got that rest because he wasn't fully match fit. But I potentially feel like at 0-0, should the substitutions have been there, Salah would have came on.
Yeah, I think
gave Liverpool
my view on
extra.
it is, at least from what I remember, when we had the ball, we were struggling to get it up on the derby, and I think that's where I would have liked to have seen Andy Robertson a bit more, because like, even looking at him today, he was running up more, he was taking a bit riskier plays in terms of, but he gave off a confidence that was like, you can try and challenge him if you want to, but it's not going to work well for you.
I think it's a huge difference.
Milner just couldn't give off that same vibe.
But to be fair to Milner, he's not a left back. Like,
he's not.
He's the kind, like, he's Mr. Reliable. He can play anywhere. You can shove him anywhere and he'll do his job. But he's not an out and out left back.
He's not a superstar in the role.
And I guess he is, and he's certainly not young. So I feel like was it like 3 months off to be asked to come in and do a shift at left back, running up and down? That's a big ask.
Yeah. Legend though.
For sure.
Before we move off the derby, Keita, I thought, was the best player in a red shirt for Liverpool on the day. I was a little shocked to see him come off as early as he did. I expect him to come off because we've got 5 substitutions, so you've got to switch things up. But I feel like he was the only one creating any sort of chance at all. So
he was
0-0 to bring him off. I was a little bit surprised.
He made me eat my own words, because I remember saying to you guys right when the lineup was announced that I didn't remember any great plays from him, or I haven't seen many great plays from him from what I've seen. And I was a bit unsure on him starting, but he made me eat my words to that day.
To be fair though, he's not had much of a chance. Like, he's been plagued with injuries since he joined the club, and I know a lot of fans have been saying like, oh, he's not working out, you know, it's time, he's had his chances, it's time to get rid of him or whatever, which I think is a little bit unfair.
Oh Christ, no, I'd not get rid of him.
The times he's had, like when he's been on form, he's been phenomenal, and then he'll get injured. I feel like, for me, if Keita can stay match fit, him and Minamino up the middle is the future for Liverpool. I think if you watch the Blackburn game back, the link-up plays between Keita and Minamino are what we hopefully will be relying on in the future, as long as and they're both young enough to be built on and trained under Klopp as well with his style of football. I think that's the future for me. Obviously Minamino is not Firmino, but Firmino's like what, in his 30s now, or at least early 30s.
I think he's 30.
So he's not going to be around much longer. He's probably got a few more years in him, and then the whole front three are going to need replacement at some point. So for me, Minamino is the sort of like replacement for Firmino.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd like to see him in that role rather than where they put him in the derby anyway. Relatively
young lad. I feel like he's got he's about 2 or 3 years off his peak.
Yeah, I think he just needs to get used to Liverpool's style of play, and then once he gets used to that, I think it will start him off then. I think that's
I'd like to see him.
Going to be when
he's a clear talent.
I feel like it's been a little bit unfair for him. I remember his debut was the Merseyside derby in the FA Cup, which is like, it's a hard game to debut on, because first of all, a Merseyside derby is a hard game, period. It's a totally different style of football than what he was used to at Salzburg, even just coming into the Prem. But then to put
it's
him
also
in a derby,
way more emotional game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, tensions are high, everyone's aggressive because both teams want to win so bad. It's not even about the 3 points in that game. It's just about beating Everton, and Everton beating Liverpool. I feel like it's a little bit unfair to debut someone in that kind of scenario. And then they did it again. His Premier League debut was the Merseyside derby. It's like, come on, man, give him a break. But I also feel like they played him in the wrong position the other day as well. I don't feel like he's suited to the wing for Liverpool, but I do think he's much better in the middle. I think he was fine, by the way. Like, I don't think he did anything wrong. He just doesn't play like Salah does, and for Trent that was a little bit maybe off-putting. It just didn't and I also think Trent was a little bit off his game in the derby as well, but it's probably due to the fact that he didn't have Salah there with him to link up.
Yeah. I think as well it's a little bit difficult because people obviously know that Minamino doesn't know the style of play for Liverpool, so they kind of don't. I'm not going to go as far as to say don't trust him with finishing it off or anything, but they don't really know what he's capable of yet, so they just don't want to risk it. They'll pass it to someone they know will get it or is more likely to get it. So if you saw someone run up, Minamino on one side,
if you can get a goal in the Prem, I think that'll boost his confidence massively. I'd like to see him like. If we can wrap this up at City, maybe, then we've still got like the likes of Burnley to play. I'd like to see Minamino start with Mane and Salah down the middle. Because again, every time he comes on, even tonight he came on, we had Harvey Elliott on the left instead of Mane, which I just think as well is a little bit unfair to Minamino. Because let's be honest, playing with Harvey Elliott is not the same as playing with Sadio Mane, and he should get that time and experience with the two of them, which he's not had yet.
He's had the issue is he's had so many different opportunities. Yeah, he's had so many decent opportunities within 6 months. He's not had a certain style to grasp yet. He's not been consistently in the same position or with the same team.
I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I've seen him.
He's a clear talent. He's
Blackburn. Yeah,
he was scoring for fun at Salzburg. Yep. He's got it in him. Just give him a little bit of time. I mean, it's also the same. Like when Andy Robertson first joined Liverpool, it took him a while to break into the team. I can remember sat there thinking, why won't he play the new left back? And then it was obviously just Klopp wanted him to train. He wanted him to give him time to work with the team, and then it clicked, and then he solidified his place. I mean, I feel like Minamino will get there absolutely.
100%. I agree with that.
I don't know if anyone else got anything else to say on that. Pretty disappointing opening.
No, not really.
Move on from the derby. Much more positive against Crystal Palace, and the next time we talk about a match,
we just need to keep the pressure up.
Before we jump into City, real quick, I just want to mention there's been a few rumours about Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich. I don't know if either of you know much about him.
Not much.
I don't know anything about him.
He's refusing to sign his contract at Bayern Munich, and there are reports that he wants to push a move to Liverpool. If you don't know much about him, he's a creative midfield for Bayern Munich, who are obviously a huge side in Germany, and I'm just wondering whether you guys think it would be a good move or if we even need it.
What position does he play?
He's in midfield.
I'm not going to say we need him. I think we've got a lot of talent in midfield, but
I mean, midfield's fairly packed.
I'm not going to refuse if he wants to join us. Under the impression of
I'd say
we're not going to change up too much about the current team.
Depending on who's going out,
I can't say I see it happening.
I certainly feel like at least some form of backup for the front three is needed, along with a left back.
Yeah, do you know what? That was literally my next question was, if you were going to make some transfers, where would it be and why? And for me, I absolutely agree. I'd want a sort of a Robbo light for left back, because obviously when we missed Robbo in the derby, it showed. And we've seen today when Trent went off and Nico Williams came in, that was fine. Yeah. Like Nico Williams is not a Trent yet, but he's certainly good enough to play in that position.
I was going to say
really have no one in
before this game. Before this game, I was going to say left and right back, but after seeing Nico Williams there, I'm reassured that with enough training and enough time, he can be a strong right back.
Yeah, I mean, there is Larouci.
There is, but I feel like
right.
Yeah.
But not
he played.
I guess he might need more time.
He played in the FA Cup.
I've seen him a bit. I think so.
I mean,
but I
take it there's probably a reason that he's not been on the bench yet. But I mean, it's because he is just so young.
Yeah, he is. I think the case of like with Harvey Elliott and
I mean, he's
Nico
an
Williams.
exception, really. It's not
Yeah,
often
they are
you'll get
exceptions.
someone like that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no other team in the Prem doing that, bringing out 17-year-olds. Like, it's madness.
Yeah, I think maybe. I mean,
It's insane. When you word it that way, it is insane.
And let's not forget that derby, that FA Cup derby, where the kids played Everton and won. Like, that is a madness that even happened and they won. Do you know what I mean? It's unheard of. No other team would have got away with that.
Wasn't the striker one of the kids as well? Can't remember his name. Isn't he
The
German?
goal scorer,
or something?
Curtis Jones.
No, isn't it? It begins with
No,
G.
he was in midfield.
I mean, we had Origi
or
played up front
something?
at the time.
I'll have to Google.
It was
in a bit.
Origi, Minamino, and I can't remember who else started up front. We'd have to have a look at that. But yeah, the only other thing I want to mention is, in terms of transfers, I would also like to see someone. I'd like to bring in a winger, just because, one, Shaqiri never plays for whatever reason, and is probably going, I would imagine. And I feel like, although we've got Minamino, you saw in the derby there, I just don't think he's suited to the wing. And when we miss Mane or Salah, it's a huge deficit. I'm fine with that, because I think Minamino's suited to the middle, so it's no slight on him. But I do think we need someone just for when inevitably Salah doesn't play or Mane doesn't play.
Do need someone to go who can go on one of those wings. I mean, Ox can maybe do it, but it's not really where you'd want him to play, I wouldn't have thought. So I feel like cover there is absolutely necessary. There's a lot of midfielders. I know Lallana's will be leaving, but I mean, I still think there's Milner, Henderson, Keita, Wijnaldum.
The competition between Keita, Wijnaldum and Ox is huge
Fabinho.
already. Yeah. I feel like Fabinho and Hendo get a start always for me, but who else joins them is always up for contention, depending on who's in form. And I just don't think we need anyone else getting in that. Because the other thing is as well, once you get too many people in there, it causes people to leave, because they start thinking, well, I'm not going to get any game time here, which we also don't want. Everyone we have right now, I'm happy with. So
that's why I'm saying, with regards to that transfer, I don't think we need him. But if he still wants to sign, knowing that that's going to be the case, then fair play. Sign away.
Yeah, if he wants to sign,
I wouldn't change.
Well, he'll sit on the bench. Then go for it. But
is there anything you want to move on to, James?
Just a look towards City.
Okay. Before we do that, I found out Fabinho was the man of the match for Palace.
He was. Hey, there you go.
I mean, I feel like it was deserved. I said fantastic goal. What I think, as I said, one of his best performances in recent memory since he came back from injury. And I feel like he will have, sort of leading us on to it, I think he'll start against City and he'll have a big role to play.
Yep. I think he just got unlucky with the free kick, and everyone kind of will look at that as a negative and forget everything else. I saw him a few times with getting some good interceptions and some good pass-throughs and stuff.
It could be interesting. I feel like, Liverpool, I think, will have to go full force against City regardless of what happens with City and Chelsea tomorrow. Because they wouldn't want to... They wouldn't want to get crowned champions and then lose to City or lose. I mean, so I feel like
you're going to the backyard of the previous winners. If you want to be their successors, it's let's have them in their own house.
Can happen. Liverpool have certainly done it before. Quite a few teams have. I think a few teams, at least two, have beat City at home this year. I think one of them was United. From memory, and I think
was
Norwich.
Wolves the other?
Was it Wolves?
Yeah, I think Wolves did.
I think it was. Yeah,
Norwich won them. I remember. I think Wolves did. I remember thinking home and away.
The two big teams, which were Liverpool and City, in my mind, were both beat by teams beginning with W. I think it was Watford and Wolves. I think.
I'm confident it was Wolves. So the last time Liverpool and City met was 3-1, but that was at Anfield. I'm not expecting that again, I'll be honest. I think it's going to be a tight game, because not only will Liverpool be able to prove themselves, but City will be able to disrupt. So it will be. Although
we will go in with full force. Like our strongest team will start.
I definitely
probably.
think they're capable.
We're gonna go in full force, try and get them at this one. I think.
So,
Should we do a lineup prediction? I'm gonna say. I assume we're all in agreement here that Alisson is starting in goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back four.
Robbo.
Yeah. I'm going with the usual four.
The usual
Van
four
Dijk
being
and Gomez at fullback, and then Trent and Robbo. Trent and Robbo fullback, and then Van Dijk and Gomez centre back.
central. Yeah.
The front three, assuming they're all fit, which they should be, because they were today, they'll all be starting. And then Jake, who are you putting in midfield?
I reckon Henderson's going to start. And then I also think Fabinho will be in there. And I'm torn between Keita and Wijnaldum. I think Keita. I'm going to say Keita.
I think it will be the same team as today, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what.
So basically just Wijnaldum for Keita. Yeah.
For me, yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty much the same.
Fabinho
Like,
must start. Henderson will
Fabinho definitely
start.
Robbo will start.
He may. I mean, I said it's that last midfield spot. That's.
I think.
Yeah.
I go Wijnaldum, but I mean, I wouldn't. I equally wouldn't be surprised if Ox plays.
I think Wijnaldum.
I think it's more likely
going
to be Keita than Ox.
Keita will come on if they're up.
I also do agree.
If they're behind, I think Ox will come on.
Yeah.
Just because he's got
Agreed.
a little bit of a different dynamic to everyone else.
He's more of a risk taker. And energized.
Smashing in them goals from distance.
That's, was it a week tomorrow? Wow. What can change in a week?
Thursday. Who knows?
Let's not forget that. I think City play tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
tomorrow. We could have
I
won the
think-
league by tomorrow.
I know
And
we'll have to
City
go
play
the
on the
whole
weekend.
week knowing.
Or was it?
What was that?
I'm trying to think. Does City play on tomorrow and on the weekend?
Who do they play on the
I
weekend?
don't know.
I don't know. Is there anything on the weekend? Because I thought, well, at least
let me
Liverpool have
find out.
got. At least Liverpool have got. Well, they've actually got. All things considered, considering how many fixtures there are at the moment, they've actually got a decent rest, which is certainly something.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I'm
be
glad
helpful.
that we've got this week
there's
now
only
between
one
City
game on Saturday and there's one game on Sunday.
and neither of the City.
Yeah, so the games.
That's mad compared to last week, isn't it? Wolves are playing Saturday.
Yeah, so
Our
it's,
very own Danny Ings is on Sunday. By the way, Danny Ings is joint third at the moment for Golden Boot.
Golden Boot. Get
Yeah.
in.
Which is
well,
mad,
I mean,
like.
he's a
He
cracking
came out
player.
that
I
way.
mean, when he left Liverpool, I think I said, I wish him well. It's a shame it didn't work out at Liverpool and he didn't get more game time. It's understandable why he didn't get more game time. But I thought if he goes to a team where he plays week in, week out, he'll definitely get goals because he is an absolute goal scorer. He's just, well, obviously, like, you're not going to take Firmino, Salah or Mane out the team really for him, are you?
Nope.
As good as he is.
So before we wrap up, Dan, I thought what we could do is score predictions from each of us for the City game.
I've been back and forth on this, you know. I honestly, I could see it
want me to
going
start?
either way. Yeah.
Right, first of all, I'm going in confident and I'm saying that Liverpool win. But I'm going to say, you know what? I know I said just a second ago it won't happen again, but I'm going with 3-1 and I'm going to say that City score first. Aguero doesn't play because of his injury, which we've not touched on, but he's getting knee surgery, which I'm not sure
I
how
don't
serious
think
that
he'll
is.
play.
He might actually play, but I'm going to say that he doesn't play.
I doubt him.
I think City will score first. Sterling will not score because he can't score against Liverpool. And
Oh, he's jinxed it now.
Liverpool will knock in 3 and it'll end 3-1. That's my prediction. Here's where
I must
Sterling
admit,
scores in like 5 minutes in.
I'd be, I mean, in my head, I'd probably say I'd put 40% Man City victory, 40% draw, 20% Liverpool win in my mind. That's because my brain always errs on the side of caution. I feel I've had Desmond, which is Desmond 2-2, stuck in my head for the result, so I'm going with 2-2.
Fair play. Do you know what? I'm going to change to 3-2. I'm still going with Liverpool win, but 3-1 might be a little bit ambitious.
I'll break the mold and go with one of my frequent thoughts, and I'm going to say it's a draw.
Okay.
No, I'm going to say it's 2-2 as well.
So Craig and Jake are agreeing.
Jake joining Team Desmond.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's 2-2. And I reckon it'll be City score first, then we'll get 2, and then they'll get another one at the end.
So when are they playing? Thursday, next Thursday, is it?
Thursday.
Next Thursday,
I think it's same time as tonight. I think it's
so we'll do the next episode of this will be we'll record it next Thursday right after the game, yeah?
Yeah, and it'll probably be up on the Friday.
So stay tuned for the results of that, whether or not any of us were correct, or which one of us was correct, and presumably
none of us care.
Fingers crossed. The next episode, Liverpool will already be champions of English football
for the first time
Hopefully.
in all of our collective lifetimes.
That'll be so funny because they'll go the whole week knowing that we've already won, and then they've got to play us.
That's presuming Chelsea show up. Which, by the way, I think there's every chance.
Chelsea show up.
Chelsea are at home. All we need is a draw. I'll take a 1-1 or whatever. Just disrupt it a little bit, please.
So is it even if they have to win, they can't draw or lose?
Yeah, have to win.
If Man City drop any points at all, draw or loss, then that's it. We've done it. We've won the league.
Come on, Chelsea.
So on that note, tune in next week. See which one of us was right. There's no score.
Or if any.
Keeping score, but yeah. Hopefully I'm right. Let's be honest. Hopefully you're both wrong.
Hopefully you are right.
But yeah, thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed it, slap a subscribe in there. If you disagree with anything we said, let us know. Maybe we'll address it in next time.
Leave your predictions for the scores in the comments.
See you next week.
Right.
Peace.
Bye for now.